Recently, you made some headlines for saying that you felt gun control laws wouldn't deter terrorists. Explain to folks.
Interesting.
Well, you know, these are these things where, first of all, I was in a situation, we do what we call the dog and pony.
Right.
We're out doing the dog and pony selling a picture. And you get sometimes you get what you feel is slightly ambushed by somebody who's really got an agenda. And that's sort of, I think, that's my opinion of what happened to me the other day. The last thing I like to watch is entertainers or actors get political. It's just something I can't stand watching. So having said that, no, I was kind of asked to put it in context somehow with this movie. Mm-hmm. You know, my personal feeling is that there's a big difference between Fantasyland and reality. Fantasyland is what we do. You're either writing something, writing a song, writing a book, doing a movie, doing a television show. That's Fantasyland. Mm-hmm. And that's where that stuff belongs. In reality, when we're dealing with things like terrorism and whatnot, we're all going to have different opinions on how to do it and how to deal with it. Yeah. Mine happens to be that I think there's a very strong reason Founding Fathers had for the Second Amendment, and that is that no government ever hasn't had to fight its own people, and its own people hasn't had to fight its own government. Mm-hmm. We had our Civil War. Mm-hmm. If that Second Amendment hadn't been there, those people would not have had the opportunity to do what they considered was defending their life, their way, their style of living. So I agree with that. I think that's an important part of our existence, and it's basically that simple.
I was just looking in the New York Times this morning, and then the guy interviewed many people from the Midwest and from the West about San Bernardino. Mm-hmm. And the basic conclusion is that there's everybody out there has this feeling of anxiety about when's the next one.
No, I think so how you connect the dots for me?
I think that there's a feeling about shootings and violence that's different now in 2015 than it was in the mid-90s.
Oh, sure. It's not the 90s, and we're in 2015.
But Quentin's doing the same game, more or less.
Quentin does what he does. Yeah, Quentin's, he's like painting a picture, or he's like writing a story, or he's like a filmmaker. Right. No, I think that to mix and match reality with fantasy is something I don't understand, but that's just me. Yeah. I think that we should understand the difference. I think that, to mix today's politics with, for instance, in this case, a tale about, a fictional tale about just right after the Civil War.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about ground level, water table, a feeling that's in people's bones that this New York Times piece was talking about. People are genuinely, between Paris and San Bernardino, there's this thing that sudden violence as a normal day-to-day aspect coming from the gun culture, coming from everything else. It's a different vibe,
I don't understand the concepts of conversation of the gun culture. We've lived with guns since, the 7th century or something? I don't know.
We all know that right now guns is a trope. It's it's not a trope, it's a totem, it's a metaphor that disenfranchised white guys need. It makes them feel good because they're being
You can say what you want. I don't agree with that. So it's not my thing.
But it's statistically
you can look. If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're out of your mind. I think I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane. The problem we're having right now is that we don't have the concepts of how to turn it around and say, you may think you've got me worried about what you're going to do. Dude, you're about to find out what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And that's going to worry you a lot more. And that's what we need. That will change the concept of gun culture, as you call it, to something of reality, which is if I'm a hockey team and I got a guy bearing down on me as a goaltender, I'm not concerned about what he's going to do. I'm going to make him concerned about what I'm going to do.
I guess Obama's point was that the guys who are on the no-fly list because of terrorist connections, can get a gun pretty easily.
They can also make a bomb pretty easily.
Yeah.
So what? They can also get knives and stab you. What are you going to do about that? They can get cars and run you over with them. What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that?
They didn't kill the people in San Bernardino.
Oh, but they've killed others that way. Haven't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Outlaw everything? That isn't the answer.
Just put some control.
Put some controls. What? So the people who want to defend themselves can't?
No, not so you can't. Just so the idiots can't get a hold of them. That's
Do
all.
you really believe they're not going to? Are you serious about that?
Yeah,
Are you
make it
seriously?
harder.
What good will that? Oh my God! You and I just disagree.
Okay.
You and I just disagree. I understand that you think that you can control the behavior of people that are dead set on taking your way of life away from you. I think you can control that.
No, I didn't say
and
that.
there's only one thing you can do with that, and that's say, no, dude, that's not going to happen. That's just not
Very
going to
nice
happen.
speaking with you, man.
Good talking with you. Good luck with your art. Good